The Advent Storybook, 25 Bible Stories Showing Why Jesus Came, by Laura Ritchie, illustrated by Ian Dale. Read to you while I wait in the car rider line. Day 6, A Promise Kept. Here's the picture. There is Abraham, formerly Abram, and Sarah, formerly Sarai, and their little baby Isaac. And a happy little lamb. This is Genesis chapter 16 through 18 and chapter 21, Hebrews 6:15. Abraham, having patiently waited, obtained the promise. Abram kept waiting for God to give him a son. He waited and waited and waited. After many more years, Abram and his wife Sarai got tired of waiting. In that time, men sometimes had more than one wife. This was not God's plan, but people didn't trust that God's plan would work. Abram and Sarai didn't trust God to keep his promise to give them a great family. So Abram had a son with a different wife. 13 years after that, God came and talked to Abram again. When Abram saw God, he fell to the ground. Abram had made mistakes, but God was not angry with him. God reminded Abram of his promise. God gave Abram a new name, Abraham. Abraham means father of many. God told Abraham that he would have a very, very big family. Nations would come from him. Kings would come from his family. God also promised that Abraham's family would have their own home in a place called Canaan. And best of all, God made a special friendship promise that would last forever, a covenant to love Abraham and his family and to be their God. Abraham had waited so long. Could he trust in God's promises? Or could he trust in God's promise? God gave Sarai a new name too. He called her Sarah. Sarah and Abraham were very old. They both laughed at the idea of having a child in their old age, but God kept his promise. A year later, he gave them a son. Even though they had stopped trusting God, he still loved them and gave them good things. They were so happy to have their son Isaac. God reminded Abraham and his family again and again of his promise. God reminded Abraham and his family again and again of his promise to love them and to be their God. And he reminded them that one day a promised son would come who would destroy evil and make everything good and new again. What good gifts has God given you and your family? That's it for today. Merry Christmas.